Some of the top golf coaches in the world say that your mental game is just as important as your golf swing. Most golfers think they have good mental game because they don't swear on the golf course, they keep checking their emotions, they don't throw their golf clubs around, but it's much more than that. It's having mental toughness, being able to bounce back from mistakes, but also making good decisions so you can score better on the golf course every single time. Let's get into it. So the mental turmoil begins when you're on the first tee box. You've got your friends around you, maybe there's a group behind that are watching, maybe there's a group that's coming off that are watching. Just realise that no one actually cares how you play. So when you get into your first tee, have a game plan. So think of a focus that's going to take your mind off everyone who's watching. So my focus is, I'm aiming for the sand in the corner, the wind's off the left, so aiming for the sand, and it should fade nice into the middle of the fairway. Pick a game plan. What am I going to do in the first tee? Keep your mind off what's going on around you. Yep, perfect. Because I had that single thought of where I was aiming and what I wanted to do, I kind of forgot about what was going on around me. This situation here, I'm not a scratch golfer, I don't play in the PGA Tour, I'm not going for this flag. If you can see the flag, it's actually sitting next to a bunker, so there's no point going for that. If I bring the bunker into play, I'm not good enough a player to get up and down from that situation. I might do 1 out of 10 times, but probably not. So, my situation here, the flag is on the right, but the green is quite large. I've got 100 yards to the front of the green, so that means the pin's probably sitting at about 110. Gap wedge goes about 115, so it kind of gives me a little bit of room for error. Aiming for the middle of the green, see if I can two putt. My one thought is, aim for the middle of the green. Okay, I pushed it a little bit because I aimed in the middle. It should be all good. Oof, nice start. Nice little stress-free start. I'm playing by myself. If I was playing with other people, I'd be constantly thinking about one thing at a time. Just relax a little bit. Okay, so something else I was guilty for in the past and something I've tried to get out of my game is thinking about what you want to shoot before you start your round. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I really want to shoot 8 or 9 over. I have to shoot my handicap today. And that kind of gets you in a really stressful situation where you only think about your score. So in my head, I'm thinking about the process of how I do that rather than what score I want. So my game plan is give myself the best opportunity for pars and two putt on every single green, and the process should allow me to get into that situation where I can shoot well. You probably should chip this because of how hairy it is around here. If I was a better player, I would chip it, but managing your expectations is so important. You think to yourself, you watch it on TV, you watch better golfers around you. I do not have that ability, so what I'm going to do is just putt it, try and get it in around the zone, give myself the best chance. If I chunk this or thin this, I could add 2 or 3 extra shots that are unnecessary. So managing your expectations and thinking about how do you reduce the errors in your head before you take the shot. Okay, and it's not the greatest shot in the world, but I've given myself a 50-50 chance of getting the par. If I get a bogey, it doesn't matter. Slammed it as well. Managing your expectations, hitting a boring but high percentage shot has given me the par there where it was quite unlikely. The last time I played this hole, I sliced it onto the championship here at Carnoustie, so that was the first thing that popped into my head. There are ways that we can think about how to counteract that. So for me, it's visualization. So visualization is thinking about a positive shot before you hit it. So I'm aiming for the left side of this fairway and trying to fade it in just a touch. So when I'm over the ball, I'm imagining what the ball flight is going to look like, and it puts positive thoughts in your head and outweighs that negative thought you had when you were on the tee box. So thinking about that positive thing, what do I want to do? And by thinking about that, it's more likely to happen. Fading a touch, get more right. So one thing that I would think about as a higher or mid-handicap golfer is I think only about that burn there. So I'm over the ball, I'm going like, oh God, I don't want to go in the burn. Don't want to go in the burn. And what happens? It goes in the burn because it's all you're thinking about. You're thinking about the outcome rather than the process of the shot. And what happens is you chunk it or you thin it, and it goes in the place you don't want it to go. So for me, thinking back to the first little tip I gave you, give yourself one focus. So my focus is a nice smooth swing, middle of the green. Left or right off the pin is all green. So we're all good, we're pretty safe. The burn is out of the question. There's no chance of going in the burn, it's impossible. it's going to be right side, and I should be able to 2-putt from there. One thing that I learned the hard way when I was a mid or higher handicap golfer was to not go for the hole at all times. What I would do is I would go for the hole, I would miss it aggressively, maybe 6 or 7 feet past, tricky putt on the way back, miss that. What would happen is I'd be 8, 9, 10 3-putts every single round, and obviously that's 8, 9, 10 extra shots that you shouldn't have. So my goal here is to get it to land in the bin lid, maybe 2, 3 feet around the hole. I now understand that after the hole is a downslope, so if I'm going to aim for here, it should stop and trickle into that zone. So I aimed for the ball to stop at the top of the hill, and the hill should bring it into that area. 2-footer, nice and easy, tap it in for the par. And instead of being super aggressive, not reading both sides of the hole and going 6 feet past and having a really tricky putt, I give myself an easy tap in for the par. Right. Okay, so good for weight, but just not really close enough, not as close as I'd want to be. This putt is not a given. I have to take my time over it, but I'm going to be confident here. I'm in the, give myself a good chance for the par. If I miss it, it's just a mistake. Nothing to worry about. We're playing well so far. Hey guys, just quickly, if you're watching this far, thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying this video, please make sure you leave a like. It helps this video massively, but it also helps my channel grow. So please go and do that right now. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. There's loads of videos on my channel, break 80, break 90. There's also loads in the pipeline, so make sure you don't miss that. Let's get back into the video. Pure tee shot in the burn. I'm taking a 1-shot drop. The worst thing I can do right now is to go chasing for the flag and start thinking about, oh god, I've got 2 here, so it means I have to get up and down for the par. If I go for the pin here, it's about a 10-15 yard space behind that bunker. So there's absolutely no chance, unless I'm Scotty Scheffler, there's no chance I'm going to get that next to the hole and get it to nestle. So I'm aiming for the middle of the green. I'm going to try and 2-putt. If I can't 2-putt, then I'm taking my medicine. I'm not allowing myself to hit it into the bunker. Maybe I can't get out the first time, maybe I make another mistake, maybe I go for the green here and I fly it off the back and lose the ball. Pitch and wedge, nice and easy, 3/4 swing, get it in the middle of the green, see if I can 2-putt. If I can't, not the end of the world, but I'm not allowing myself to accumulate the errors by making a silly mistake on top of one I've already made. Pushed it a bit. Light. Okay, lovely. If this goes in, I'll be very, very happy. If it doesn't, I deserve it after that tee shot. Made a mistake. Oh. We've still got a good score going. We've made a mistake, we've had a poor hole. Let's move on to the next one. So thinking about the next hole, this fairway is really tight. If I hit driver really well, it's probably going to go through the trees. If I fade it too much, it's going to go in the trees here. If I draw it, it's dead. So the biggest part of this fairway is the 200 yard marks. This 4-iron goes 200 yards when it's hit well. So that's my game plan in this situation here. You don't always have to hit driver. People around you are hitting driver. Know your own capability. So I've read the yardages. I know the highest percentage play. I'm keeping this ball in play by hitting a 4-iron off the tee. It's also off the back of a mistake. I want to make sure I don't make another double here. Perfect. A little bit fat, but middle of the fairway. It's going at 190, 200. All my friends around me are in the trees. I'm nice and safe in the middle of the fairway. Okay, so we're nice and safe in the middle of the fairway. I understood my own yardages. It's so important that you understand how far you hit your club. So for example, you see on Instagram all the time people are like, hit my pitching wedge 170 yards. You're like, well, you don't. You hit it like 130, but you thinned it, so it went an extra 40 yards. You need to understand when you hit a good shot, how far does the ball actually go? The second thing is understanding the green. So the green is absolutely massive. You think about it, you'll read your watch, it says, oh, it's 140. It's 140 to the front, but it's actually like 180 to the back. My 5-iron does go 180, so I'm going to aim right down the middle and see how I get on. That's nice, really nice. The pin is actually in the middle of the green. There's a bunker at the front, so automatically your brain goes, oh no, that bunker's at the front. But I know the bunker's at about 140. The pin is actually sitting at 180, so although from this angle it looks like it's really close, I've actually got a massive, huge space of 2 or 3 clubs. I'm aiming for the biggest part of the green on the right hand side. If it draws, it should be absolutely perfect. If it stays straight, I'm on the safe part of the green and I can try and 2-putt from there. Instead of aiming for the 3-foot bin lid here, I'm just narrowing that, so I'm putting it a little bit smaller. I want the ball to nestle in around 1 foot behind the hole. If it goes in, amazing, but if I miss it, it should be a tap in. I'm not leaving myself 3 or 4 footers on the way back by being too aggressive. Oh. Easy tap in for the par. As a mid to high handicap golfer, par 5s can be really daunting because you think you have to get there in 2 shots. You actually shouldn't even be thinking about a birdie, you should be thinking about how do I set myself up for an easy par. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 1 shot middle of the fairway, hopefully. The second shot I'm looking to set myself up for an easy, comfortable wedge shot into a green, and from there 2-putt for the par. Beautiful. That's my best strike of the day. So I've hit a really nice drive here. People around you are hitting 3-woods, driver off the deck, they're going into the trees, they're going into the rough. My game plan is more simple. Choose a comfortable club that's going to go into a distance that'll give you a nice comfortable 3rd shot. So for me here it's 230 to the front, which I know this 6 iron goes about 170, 165, which is going to leave me a perfect shot into the green for a birdie putt, but I'm looking for the par. Caught a bit off the toe. Okay, but we still have that safe yardage. The only issue I have now is the pin is kind of on the left side next to that bunker, so stick with the game plan, going for the middle of the green. Nice smooth shot with a 56 degree, aim for the middle of the green, 2-putt from there for the par. Caught it a touch heavy, but the 2-putt is on for the par. A little bit short, I maybe could have hit a 52, but I also think that I didn't catch it overly well, so that's why I'm here. But we're still thinking of the same thing. We're looking at the 3-foot bin lid around the hole. I'm not aiming at the hole at all, I'm looking for it to stop in that easy zone for a tap in par. Okay, slow down. Might even go in. That's ridiculous. Birdie, let's go. There's water on the right here, and I always go in there. But let's give ourselves a little bit of a focus. So, aiming for the bunkers on the left hand side, just keeping away from the water, trying to hit it straight with a little bit of a fade. Keep it in play at all times. I don't want to think about the water and give myself an individual focus. Lovely. Okay, so the last tip I want to give you that I learned the hard way is when you're over the ball and you don't feel comfortable, do not hit that club. So for example, in that situation there, I had the 56 degree, I got over the ball and I felt as if I was going to thin it. And for that reason, I put the club away. Usually in the past, I would just hit it anyway. What do you think would happen? I would thin it or chunk it or whatever, but it might just be that you feel uncomfortable because you're kind of set up wrong. So just step back, think about what you're doing and hit a shot, but wait until you feel comfortable at all times. Beautiful. So I've given myself a focus of this zone here. That's where I wanted to stop, but I'm giving it a good read so it might go in. So by allowing ourselves to 2-putt, it takes pressure off you. You know you're safe because you're going to be in that safe zone. As long as you've read it properly and the weight is good, it should land in that zone for the tap-in, and it gives you a little bit of a stress relief. You know it's going to go in that zone without smashing it 6 feet past. Don't you dare go in again. Oh my god, that is ridiculous. My partner's been on fire today. Well, that's my best front 9 in a long time. I'm off a 9 handicap. I've gotten down to 7 before, but This front 9 has been incredible, and it's because I've actually been walking through the process and I've been focusing more because I'm telling you about it, so it's allowed me to kind of hyper focus myself, and because of that I've shot like the best 9 I've shot in a long time. So if you enjoyed that video, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like before you go. There's videos on the screen right now. Subscribe to the channel, click on one of them. Thank you so much for watching.